Please pardon the interruption. At this time, we are going to ask that students and staff proceed to conduct an internal lockdown. I repeat, this is not a drill. Please.
I used to grow up in California. I went to a really small school out there. I remember I was in the 6th grade. That morning, when I went to class, we had a lockdown drill. Super common and recognizable at the school. All the teachers would warn us ahead of time to save the panic. A short buzzer would go off, and then our principal would go on the intercom and give this huge spiel about how this lockdown was a drill. That when a real lockdown came by, the buzzer would play for longer, and she wouldn't do any announcements. We all shut the curtains and sat in the classroom. It was over before we knew it, and the day went by. But as the day progresses, this picture kept popping up. From the glances I got, it was a picture of some notebook paper. I assumed it was something personal somebody lost, and everybody was just being jerks and showing it around, so I didn't even ask to see it. Finally, it was the second to last period of the day. I ducked out of the class to use the restroom, but while I was at the sink, the buzzer went off again. It was so long I wanted to cover my ears. No announcements, no explanation. It was a real lockdown. You're supposed to stay where you are. In my case, hop on the toilet and lock my stall. But I was not about to sit here and wait for the intruder to go into the bathroom and open my stall door. Screw that. I ran out of the bathroom, hoping to go back to my classroom, but it was locked, and there was no way my teacher was letting me back in. I was panicking, so I kept going down the hall, trying each and every handle I could. Finally, I found this other girl crying as she kept trying to open the same handle. I grabbed her hand and led her down my path as I kept trying the doors. After only a minute, though it felt like hours, we found an empty computer lab whose door was open. We went inside and hid until the entire thing was over. The school tried to keep it hush-hush, but we all eventually found out a kid brought his dad's gun to the school because he was mad, but then realized he didn't want to hurt anybody. He hid in the bathrooms and called the police on himself. Nobody got hurt, and I never really saw that kid again. I think the scariest part was the picture I was talking about earlier. I found out, after everybody figured out what happened, that it was his hit list. I was number 9. This was my sophomore year of high school. It was 2001. My grandma had just died a month earlier. I was already sad about the whole situation. School just had to start on Monday, September 10th. Today was day 2 of school. I was in health class, and it was September 11th, 2001, a Tuesday morning that started so beautiful. I don't think much more as an explanation is needed, but we thought we were under attack, which we were. We thought the entire country was being bombed. We watched the towers collapse. We were locked in our classroom for 3 hours until our parents came. Even the ones with cars who could leave immediately were made to stay. We didn't know. It could have been a war. Bombs could be coming from anywhere. St. Louis isn't important, but we do have military bases nearby. It was absolutely terrifying, and something that I will never forget. It's been 5 years now, but in my senior year of high school, I inadvertently put myself in a very bad spot during a school lockdown. I had been spending time with a girl I had a big crush on. We had a project we were doing together for a class, and we just hung out a bit on the side. Well, her ex was having crisis after crisis going on in his life. I mean, it was one thing after another, and you just couldn't help but feel for him. So at some point, he got suspended and came in a few days later, supposedly armed with a knife. He was upset about a lot of things, particularly his extremely recent breakup with my project partner and crush. This was all going down in the main office, which during the lockdown had him only a 30-second walk from where I was locked down with other people who had their lunch interrupted by this incident. I, however, didn't care about my lunch. I was concerned that he was aware that his ex and I had been hanging out as of recent and might want to harm her or myself. Luckily for her and I, they managed to calm him down and remove him from the school. I had spent time sitting next to him for a whole quarter in English class the year before, and we got along well, so we were not on bad terms, so I had that going for me. That and in high school, I was far from a girlfriend stealer, so I suppose I wasn't a threat anyway. This was during the middle of the school year, and it was just a normal day. It was the usual. We got a serious lockdown warning saying, "Attention staff, please lock all doors and keep students safe. This is not a drill." We all got so confused, as this just doesn't happen right out of the blue. Our school put out a strong warning saying that there were active shooters in the boys' locker room. We sat there in so much shock. And then one of my best friends decided to be a huge idiot and sneak out of the bathroom and check out what was happening. This was a bad mistake. They decided to go back, saying to themselves that it was fake. 2 hours later, still stuck in hard lockdown mode with people still scared shitless and the idiot friend still outside the classroom. Then we heard gunshots. People started screaming and shouting. Our friends hiding in the bathroom stalls texted me, and friends saying, "The shooters are nearby us. Keep quiet." Then, our next door classmate was heard outside screaming. He got shot. He was screaming like his life depended on it. We heard gunshots for at least another hour until the police came. An hour comes by, and the shooting finally stops, and police and SWAT teams storming our classrooms. That was thankfully the end of it. We found results of who was injured and killed. 530 injured and 12 killed. Teachers have been killed more than students. It was absolutely terrifying and so sad.